So, I guess I'm doing this right now. It's Kiana, and today I f***ed up. Today was a really rough day at work. It's just one of those situations where things just seem to be going wrong. Like if they can't go wrong, then they will go wrong. And because of that, I've just been like super hard on myself all day. It's really hard being the type of person who just expects good all the time. It's different from having accountability for the things that you actually do mess up, and it's actually like escalating a situation and adding more weight to something that was in your control or maybe wasn't in your control, and associating all of the like negativity involved or all of the like mishaps that happened to your part in the situation. So I do a lot of that to myself, and I don't really know how to shake it. Usually the best thing in coping with that sort of thought for me is to just slow the moment down and sort of like isolate it when it happens. You're either overgeneralizing, or you're putting too much blame on yourself, or you're not giving yourself enough credit for the work that you did do. And just so many things that just like diminish a lot of the detail from the situation and solely focus on the negative. You sort of have to adopt to diminishing that sort of like frame of mind. It's a lot healthier if you at least give it an attempt versus just expecting it to happen or just allowing those thoughts to like happen on their own. I know that I do my best at work, and I know that I work hard, and I know that this is the type of job that I'm good at, but it doesn't come without its learning curves, right? So there's a lot of things in this new position that I am still adjusting to. A while ago when I was living in Pittsburgh, I had a really great therapist, and we talked a little bit about cognitive distortion and just like self-destructive thoughts and things like that, and how they sort of like work in a cycle. So when I'm working to identify my own cognitive distortions, I just notice a few patterns. So a lot of the times when I like come into these sort of negative situations, I sort of put things through like a filter, unknowingly, of course. When like one thing negative happens, I think of all the negative things that have happened, and I like chalk it up to my record of bullshit basically, and just like how I am always messing things up and how things are always crazy when I'm involved and things like that, when I know that that's not inherently true. Things happen, and the thing is that you just have to learn how to deal with them. One thing that I'm also guilty of when it comes to these sorts of situations is sort of like disqualifying like positive thought or positive thinking. I really can't think about the plus sides at all when stuff like this happens. I'm usually like completely negative, which is like a really hard thing to admit. But a lot of the times, like when these things happen, I can't say, okay, well at least there's this, or at least you have these things along with like these negative things. There's really no like solutions finding for me when it comes to this, and I know that that's really like sort of unhealthy. So usually in situations like this, I'm like, okay, well bad things are happening, there's literally no good or no positive that can come out of it. That's not true, and sometimes it takes a little bit of extra work to find that silver lining. But whenever I'm in this state, I really can't take the time to find it because I'm so busy like spending all this energy and time just like focusing on the negative. I think I have one more thing to talk about. In the situation where you're trying to sort of like combat these types of thoughts, it's always good to remember to be patient with yourself. It's really hard to immediately like challenge these like habits of thinking that you like practice, because I mean that's just the way that your brain works, and it's the way that you're wired. So it's hard to sort of like take a look from the outside looking in and say, all right, you're being ridiculous and you're being crazy. And it's not something that I've learned like overnight. Like I mentioned, my therapist has been a big help to me when I was seeing her back in Pittsburgh. It's just something that I sort of had to pick up on my own, because if not, I knew that I was gonna drive myself crazy. But I know that it takes a long time for people to sort of come to this like conclusion. So I'm not saying immediately try to like jump in to a battle with yourself on how to like reprogram this negative thinking. Like it's gonna happen. It's all just a matter of how you sort of treat yourself and understanding that you are just sort of like beating yourself up. I'm one of those people who beats myself up a lot. I think the problem is I'm always expecting consistency in my results. And I mean, as far as what I can put out, that's one thing, but there are so many other things happening in the background, and like so many unseen forces or whatever sort of ridiculous like thing that's happening behind the curtain that I don't know about. All of those things can throw a curveball into the situations that I'm in and that I deal with. And those are the things I sort of blame myself for, are the things that I didn't see, or the things that I had no oversight for. And it's ridiculous, right? Like you can't really feel bad about things that you didn't know about, or like things that are literally out of your control, but I do it all the time, and it's just it's hard. It's hard to like confront myself and look at this camera and say that that's something that I deal with, but it's true. I'm an adult. I can admit it. Hopefully some of these points that I'm talking about can be helpful to someone. Like, I know that a lot of people deal with this sort of thinking and deal with this sort of frame of mind. So just remember to zoom out, take a step back from the situation, the emotions that you feel, and know that there are sometimes things that are outside of your control or like outside of your understanding. It's not all your fault. Like, nothing is completely your fault. There are sometimes situations where it's good to have some accountability, but a lot of the times I know that the people that I interact with, they take the brunt of the outside forces and the things that are happening outside of their control, and they blame themselves for it. I understand that it's like a difficult space to put myself in, so I try my best to challenge these like cognitive distortions and this sort of negative thinking as much as I can, just for the sake of my own peace of mind. It's just like, it's ridiculous to put this sort of pressure on yourself to just expect everything to fall into place all the time, but yeah, that's what I do. So yeah, I hope that this video is helpful. If you have any questions about this, you're more than welcome to approach me and chat about dealing with these sort of things, because I mean, I'm human, I can relate. But yeah, like, I know this is the sort of thing that people go through all the time, and I just wanted to take some time out to talk about it. Thanks for checking out this video, and yeah, thanks for watching.